Good morning, my dear students. Today I am going to teach you the topic conditional sentences. Conditional sentences are the sentences in which we can find two parts. First part is if clause and second part is main clause. Okay, it is composed of two parts, main clause and if clause. If clause is a dependent clause, main clause is an independent clause, right? In this sentences we can find if clause always depends upon main clause because if clause is a dependent clause, right? Now let us see one example here. If it rains tomorrow, we will not come. Here, if it rains tomorrow, okay, here the if clause is a dependent clause. It depends upon another sentence, that is main clause will not come. Will not come can exist on its own, whereas if it rains come tomorrow may not exist on its own. That's why it is a dependent clause, and we will not come is an independent clause which we call main clause, right? This is about conditional sentences. Now let us see types of conditional sentences. The order of the two clause is flexible, it is not important, but if the if clause comes first, it must be followed by a comma. For example, the arrangement, the order of the two clauses is flexible. We can say I'll stay at home if it rains, or if it rains I'll stay at home, right? There are four types of conditional sentences. They are classified according to the degree of probability that they express. Actually, there are four types of conditional sentences depending upon the degree of probability, whether the situation is situation is fulfilled or not. It depends upon this. There are four types of conditional sentences. Each type of conditional sentences uses different tenses to show the difference in the degree of probability. The conditional sentences can be written by using different tenses, right? First one is zero conditionals. Here the tense of this zero conditional is present tense in both the clauses. We can see simple present tense in both the classes. Okay, here first clause is if clause. If you heat water to 100 Celsius, it boils. Here the second part, simple present tense, shows that the action should be in universal truth and it should be an habitual action. Okay, zero conditional deals with the universal truth and habitual actions. If you pour oil into water, it floats. We whenever we pour some water into water, whenever you pour some oil into water, then what happens? It simply floats. It is a general fact. There is no any change in its concept. That's why we can say it in simple present tense, right? Now let us see zero conditional uses. We should talk about universal truth, and we should also talk about habits. Okay, if you heat ice, it turns to water. It's a general fact. And if I see a spider, I get very scared. It is also a habit. That's why these two conditions should be indicated by zero conditions. Okay, now let us see the next one. First conditional sentences. If clause and main clause should be present tense and future tense accordingly. Here present tense, if I sick tomorrow, it is a present tense. Future tense, I'll not go to school. If I feel sick tomorrow, I will not go to school. Here the condition is fulfilled and its result is probable. Got my words? Here Present tense can show that the condition is fulfilled. Future tense shows its probability. Okay, here the the situation is fulfilled. The situation is, I feel sick tomorrow, I will not go to school. It shows the probability of the action. Okay, if it rains, the match will be cancelled. Okay, next let us see the uses of this first conditionals. To speak about possible or probable future, uh, if you forget my birthday, I will not speak to you again. Here, if you do not speak to if you do not forget your birthday, definitely you won't speak to me. It shows that the condition is fulfilled and its result part is probable. Okay, if you are not tired, go to bed. Here the condition is fulfilled and the result part is probable. Next, if you see some sentences here, if you do not come, you will miss the show. John will buy a car if he gets a job. Mary will get a toothache if she eats too many sweets. Now let us see second conditionals. In the second conditionals, if clause should be in past tense and main clause should be in would plus an infinitive. Okay, if I were a bird, it would fly across the harbor. Actually, this sentence shows improbability of the action. If I were a bird, I would fly across the harbor. Here I cannot become a bird and I cannot fly. It shows that there is a improbability of the action or situation. Okay, that's why we can say that this second conditional is called improbable conditions. To speak about present and future situation which are unlikely to happen, generally this second conditional shows the present tense and present tense only. Okay, if I had any money, I would lend it to you. If I were you, I wouldn't do this. See here, this talks about present tense. If I were you now, I wouldn't do this. Okay, here I cannot become you and I cannot do it. Both are in improbability. That's why these these conditionals are called improbable sentences. Now let us see the third conditional. If clause should be in past perfect, main clause should be in would have plus past participle. You know, this condition should be impossible. You know, we cannot fulfill the condition in these sentences. Okay, if I had enough money, I would have bought the camera yesterday. You know, this shows the impossibility of the condition. We cannot uh, 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 actually, yesterday means in the past tense. We did not something and its result part is also in past tense. That's why you cannot do that same thing. If I had enough money, I would have bought the camera yesterday. You know, in the sentences, the situation cannot be fulfilled again. At any cost, the situation cannot be fulfilled. That's why these conditions are called impossible conditions. Let us see some examples here. If they would gone by bus, they would have arrived much later. Actually, they didn't go by bus and they never go to by bus again since the action is in past, right? So it shows the impossibility of the condition. You would have traveled around the world if you had more money. See here, this shows the impossibility of this action. That's why these third conditionals are also called impossible or unreal conditions. Thank you a lot for listening this class.